welcome back to the Flurry Sports Podcast in the middle of Wild Card Weekend. One more game left tonight. We'll talk about Wild Card Weekend, what has happened. Obviously, one game remain. What's your thoughts on the Monday Wild Card Weekend, the Super Wild Card Weekend? NFL had to release a statement that we're dropping the Super, but we're keeping obviously the 7 seed, which is BS. I don't like the 7 seed, but
yeah.
Tell me this, Jake. Is it because the Vikings are playing in this game that I do not care about it? Or is it because it's Monday? It doesn't feel like a playoff game tonight. It just feels like some exhibition playground stuff. Like I take zero. There's nothing about this game that interests me. Whoever wins is going to get their shit kicked in by the Eagles. Like I do not care about this game at all.
Oh, interesting. There's a few things there that I have thoughts on. I don't know if I'm that confident in the Eagles, but
oh really? I think they're Super Bowl, NFC Super Bowl team.
They're one of the best teams in the NFC. I just thought, not that the Packers had any life in them for most of that game, but the Packer defense looked great for a lot of the game, and that's going to be the worst defense they play going forward. So,
not true. Rams are for sure worse.
Oh,
and then the Vikings, if you block the Vikings front, which the Eagles have one of the best offensive lines in football, Vikings have 0 cornerbacks.
You want to talk about the NFL being scripted. If the Vikings defense so bad, how come they always got 6 choreographed interception dances?
That's true. That's a good point.
But here's my thoughts on the long weekend. I actually think, and you kind of touched on it there, the team I don't care about tonight is the Rams.
I want to, though. Like I'm open to them convincing me that they're Super Bowl champions.
But they're not. If Aaron Donald comes running out of the tunnel tonight, we can have a discussion.
That's where my mind is. Do I not care because Aaron Donald's gone?
And listen, folks, as they're listening to this already know what happened tonight, so I won't talk too much about the game. But I just think even if the Rams win, I'm not picking them against the Eagles. At least Minnesota, Philadelphia have a weird, last 6 years rivalry. So they hate each other. I don't really get it. It's very Mean Girls to me, but I kind of like catty rivalries like that.
I do too.
So
Eagles fans threw full cans of beer at Vikings fans. Didn't one of them throw horse shit at Vikings fans? Possibly same year, something like that happened.
Is that the Minneapolis Miracle? No, that was Saints.
Right. I think it was that run. I think it was the game after that, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, and then Eagles beat them. Eagles went to the Super Bowl in Minnesota. I don't know. Weird. But yeah, they don't like each other at all. And they've had good games. I know that. But here's my thoughts on it. I was bummed we only had 2 games on Saturday.
Same here.
And one of them was on fucking Prime.
Yeah. That needs to get figured out. But also, I mean, part of it is, and we had the same thing last year, I think same issue. There's just too many blowouts, and no one's talking about this, the NFL playoffs not being correct, right? It's the same thing that happened with college football playoff. Oh, weird, there's blowouts. Maybe some teams, you have the best team playing the worst team, and then we're mad that the better team won. What are we doing? Let's just match them up evenly then if we want good games.
I didn't know I was going to say this fast, but I was planning on saying that, hey, college football playoff haters awfully quiet this week, aren't you?
No, Indiana haters, by the way, if Notre Dame wins.
Sorry. Now, put some respect on them.
They barely lost to Notre Dame. It wasn't that it wasn't that far apart in the scoreboard. No. Other teams lost to them worse. Indiana should be a national champion. Runner up. If Notre Dame wins.
Technically third place because actual champion, Northern Illinois.
That's true. That's true. Northern Illinois should take a victory lap right now. Good for them.
It's like UCF. We want Bama.
I mean, Notre Dame's battle tested because of them. Are they the Huskies there? Are they the Salukis? Huskies? Okay. Good for them. They should be invited to the game.
Yeah, those games were great. I also love, there's no world where Cam Ewers won, like it was like after the game, they're like, why didn't you go with Archie? Okay, I don't, it was a close game. I don't know. So, Ohio State, Notre Dame, somehow Notre Dame's baby face. So we'll see what happens there. Big baby faces.
They are, but
And
not to me.
underdogs.
This is worst case. I think we talked about what's worst case scenario, and I think I said this. Or like, what matchup do I not want to see? Because I hate both of these teams.
Yeah, Notre Dame's won me over a bit. I was sitting there going like, I don't want Ohio State, Texas at all.
There's a lot of bad options.
Wrong. They were there. Ohio State, Penn State. That was the one that I was like, don't give me that. That sucks.
Yeah, that's true. I really hate Penn State now too. I don't know.
Misspoke. Texas, Notre Dame, and Ohio State, Notre Dame felt kind of equivalent to me. But you know what it was better than? Chargers, Texans.
There's so many bad games, but that one was like both teams are bad. Justin Herbert, terrible. Jim Harbaugh, you could just feel the love just drain out of him. Like this is the man he fell in love with, Justin Herbert. It's like, no, I didn't coach you to do that. No high fives on the Chargers sideline. Jim Harbaugh was all ready to give out high fives. He loves that. Couldn't even do that.
I didn't know Justin Herbert had the yips in him that bad.
It just felt like the most Chargers game of all time.
It did, but it does feel like, when you're playing NCAA or Madden and you have a game as quarterback where you're like, I have to quit. It's not a rage quit. It's like, how have I just thrown 4 picks? Like, how did I not see that free safety? And like Justin Herbert was throwing some of those passes out there. Like, don't revenge, all go it. Don't just send them out there again.
I think across the board, there was a lot of bad quarterback play this weekend because on the other side, CJ Stroud bad. Jordan Love, obviously terrible. There's a lot. Jalen Hurts wasn't good.
Borderline, I know. I wanted to say borderline 2 good quarterbacks, maybe 3 good quarterback games if you want to say both Baker and Jaden. But
Baker wasn't very good. He had that awesome run where he trucked middle linebacker, but Jaden was great.
And so was Lamar, but that was it. 2 good quarterback games.
Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah. But
he did everything he was supposed to do. He didn't impress me.
that game was weird. They ended strong.
It was a weird game. Yeah.
Couldn't believe, it was like Denver's going to come back.
I bet Denver. I talked up Denver. Denver scored right away. I said, uh-oh, what's going to happen, Buffalo? And then, boy.
Turns out Denver... By the way, Buffalo Ravens next week, Lamar's going to have that same play dialed up because that was just a broken coverage. They knew coming into the game that play was a touchdown.
This is game of the week, obviously, it's going to be Ravens-Bills. Whoever wins that, we should give them the MVP. Like, that's what this game should be for. Why wouldn't it be? If the NFL is scripted for anything at all, and I don't think it is, it should be scripted for this, and it might be scripted for this one thing. How bad of a look would it be if Ravens win, Josh Allen gets MVP, or the Bills win, and then Lamar Jackson gets MVP? That looks terrible. Like, you have to have the winner of this game win the MVP.
Yeah, but what if Josh Allen has the greatest game of all time and loses, which is what's about to happen?
Doesn't look good.
Doesn't look
like
good.
They went head to head and he lost. Yeah. Most valuable player. How valuable is a player on a losing team? Not very.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too. It's a head-to-head. Give it to him. There's no. Yeah. I've become disillusioned. I've landed on Lamar should win MVP, and 100% he will not win MVP. That's where I'm at right now.
I agree, and it's setting it up. They're setting it up so good right now because
I can't believe the Chiefs get to play the Texans.
I know it's going to be a cakewalk.
Sucks.
It's going to be a close game, but it's going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be too close.
Take chunks out of each other.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Pacheco's going to look like Pacheco again. Travis Kelce's going to have 2 touchdowns. Yeah. They're going to be fine.
The only thing I'll say to talk about before we move on it too fast. Okay, Chargers, Texans. I mean, terrible game, both sides.
Defense for Texans was good.
In the room, I saw people become D'Amico Ryan fans. I was watching it with a lot of casual people. We were doing Other Side Christmas, and Grandma Jan was like, "I like that coach." I was like, "That's a good sign."
Yeah, he wins people over
because she's got some 1970s tendencies. She,
sure,
she's nice, but she's getting open-minded. So
okay. They let them coach now. She said that a few times.
It was a little bit like, he's the head coach. Like, okay, you don't have to.
Whoa.
It's always like nice stuff like that. And she's like, that's not what I meant. Okay. But all that to say, by the end, she's like, I really like him.
Hey, he's a good coach. Good ball coach.
He's a good ball coach. And so do I even want the Texans to beat the Chiefs?
No,
I don't. I want the Chiefs to lose to like somebody meaningful.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're in WWE territory. Who's the Undertaker going to put over?
Yeah. Yeah. The Chiefs need to put somebody over, and it feels right for either case. Whoever, Buffalo or Ravens, whoever wins that game, like those are two teams who can never get over the hump. So for the Chiefs to put over one of them, that makes sense. Yeah. On the NFC side, I guess it would be the Lions, right? You have to put
they could put over Jalen Hurts.
Maybe. Only I don't know if the Eagles need to be put over though, because again, we fell into this trap last time. If the Eagles are in the Super Bowl with the Chiefs, there's no babyface. Eagles aren't babyface.
They will be against the Chiefs. I agree with you. It's not how I would book it. It's not how I would book it. But
they don't even have Jason Kelce now. Sirianni's going to be on a mic for 2 weeks leading up to the game. They will not be babyface.
Saquon's babyface.
He is.
Keep Chris Long away from the mic and we'll be okay.
True. Okay. Saquon can be the ultimate babyface because I just remembered what I was going to say before. So when you're talking about Lamar Jackson, it feels like you want him to win MVP, should win MVP, and then he's not going to. They're setting it up perfectly because he's on one back-to-back.
Yeah.
He just got named first team All-Pro. Mm-hmm. And historically, like every single time, no matter what, if it's a quarterback MVP, whoever wins first team All-Pro is always the MVP. And too many people have pointed that out today.
Yeah.
Seems like, first time ever. First team All-Pro, Lamar, MVP, Josh Allen. And then what's that mean? No award for Saquon. That's why he would be the ultimate baby face. Goes to the Super Bowl, wins Super Bowl MVP.
No award for Saquon sucks. And there's no way. I don't think he wins it at all. I think it's gonna. I think
MVP, Super Bowl MVP. Or are you saying
offensive player of the year?
Probably not. I mean,
usually that's the running back, nice try award.
True. But if people it's all the same voters. So there's a chance they go, Lamar's All-Pro, Josh Allen gets MVP, Saquon gets Offensive Player of the Year. They all had historic seasons. We all feel good. Everybody takes home a participation trophy, right? There's a chance they do that. Or they may say, and I can't remember who it was, one voter, because they're not allowed to give away their pick, but they said this essentially. They said, I think it was Dan Orlovsky. I think he gave Offensive Player of the Year to 2 quarterbacks, and he gave MVP to 2 people. He said he didn't know if it was legal, but he gave both of them first number 1 votes for both. And if more people have that mindset of, I'm just going to write in both of them because they're both tied, then one of them is going to win MVP, one of them is going to win Offensive Player of the Year.
Well, my whole thing is all of the worst reasons that you hear about people not voting for someone for MVP are coming up here. Lamar just won. I don't like that, but it's
don't like it either.
Josh Allen has never won one. Sometimes I like that. Sometimes I don't. Josh Allen is having his best year. Cool. Right. So's Lamar. none of that matters. Like none of that is.
So is Jordan Love
comparative.
technically, and he's not playing well.
Correct. He was fine, and then he wasn't. You know,
But it's his best year technically.
it is his best year. 100. That's the whole thing. None of those things are MVP worthy, but when you stir them in a pot
Mhm.
and it's against someone who just won,
Well, for all sports, MVP more than any other award is a storyline award.
Yeah.
Like that's why they talk about it, and that's why it makes no sense. Like Pro Bowls shouldn't count towards legacy. MVPs really kind of shouldn't count towards legacy. It's just whose turn is it to win this award, and that's why winning it 3 times in a row, like it usually just doesn't happen because that's not the storyline. That's not. It doesn't matter.
and look at the NBA is the best example of that because it's why do Jordan and LeBron not have 10 MVPs? And it's like
Right.
because variety. Like
Well, it's the same thing as Coach of the Year too. Why didn't Bill Belichick win it 20 times?
it's variety. So I mean, it's hard when it just so happens this year the numbers line up so well that it's like I think honestly Lamar's only reason he's even being talked about this much is he so clearly is having a better year than last year.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, he's been phenomenal. He's been the best quarterback. I'm not even sure if it's debatable. You don't think so? Who
I
do you
don't
think
know.
was? Do you think
Joe Burrow.
I'll hear Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow had to put up with a lot of shit. There's an argument, like if I had to pick one, if you do, this is, by the way, this is another thing they say in MVP races that's kind of horse crap, but I'm about to say it, which is take the rest of the team away. Maybe Joe Burrow did the most.
Yeah.
With the least, you know?
I mean,
with
Jake,
Jamar Chase, Triple Crown winner.
You and I know how to decide this. We have experience with this. You go into showmanship for cattle. What do?
Smart.
Switch animals.
Oh,
Switch animals.
Yes.
You know what? Let's see. Lamar, you go play with Jamar Chase. Joe, you go play with Mark Andrews. He's going to be shooting up insulin on the sideline the entire time. You won't get a word in. See what you can do.
Okay, I do rescind my argument because the switch animals thing actually did work well because I imagined Lamar Jackson with Jamar Chase, and I was like,
it's insane. Yeah.
Oh, they don't lose a game. I think they win all of them by 30. But maybe not. It's hard to imagine. After watching Hard Knocks, I'm like, how could anyone throw to one person more than Burrows threw to Chase?
I mean, you can't. That's very true.
Yeah. So, but all that to say, he'd be the one this year that I'm like, I guess I could see an argument there. Josh Allen, literally the argument is, but doesn't Josh Allen, again, it's storyline, doesn't Josh Allen deserve to be MVP sometime in his career?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many times by too many people this year I've heard it's Josh Allen's time. What's that mean? Because he hasn't won it? Who cares? Like we don't need to give it to him. He can not win. That's also an option. It's fine.
If he wins this week, I'm fine with it.
Sure. Exactly. Sure. If he loses, maybe it's not his time.
Maybe it's not his time. Okay, let's do it this way then. This is a little preview. Take that part out of it. You've got to pick one of these two teams. You can tell me if it's different who you would want or who you think has the better shot. But who do you pick to beat the Chiefs?
Ravens for sure.
I think so. Honestly, storyline wise, I kind of am more rooting for the Bills.
Okay.
This is a little bit, I'm not that into Josh Allen, but that would, in terms of like, as much as I'm into Lamar Jackson and other things, he's great. Obviously, he's a good quarterback. But hear that too with the MVP discussion. This is Josh Allen's best year. He has had a very good year. It's just, it's splitting hairs. But if Josh Allen has a great game, beats Lamar, has a great game, beats Kansas City, that's awesome. That is very much, that's the Bills' career in a nutshell. And then, of course, they lose the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, if he beats the Ravens, beats the Chiefs, I'm letting you guys know right now, I'm going to pound home that it's a regular season award. Josh Allen still doesn't deserve it. But until we get to that point, whoever wins, it's fine.
Whoever wins.
It does feel good. pile on all the optimism. Bills finally get over the hump. Josh Allen wins MVP. This is the year. Curse is gone. And they lost to the Lions. Fuck. Like,
Yes.
that would be good.
And by the way, that's my favorite matchup left. That was the only other thing I want to do, which is booking what's left and in front of us. Oh, there's Lions Chiefs. Sure. That's the company booking, you know. Biggest baby face in the country, biggest heel in the country, sure. I'm terrified that the heel will win again. They're gonna Roman Cody me one more time.
I mean, that's my I think they win any matchup.
That stinks. But the most fun, no matter what happens, because I would take either side of this, is Buffalo Detroit. Because Buffalo gets there and they go, oh my God, it's our year. Everyone loves us. We're the fan favorites. We've lost more Super Bowls. Why is everyone booing us?
Yeah. That's a good point.
They beat the heels for sure. DeMar Hamlin will get booed.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point.
He's not Skip.
No, he's not. Yeah, I guess that is the most fun matchup.
Neither's won a Super Bowl ever.
True.
So you'd get a historic finish no matter what. It should be a good game.
Yeah, I feel like we need a team to hate more than one of those teams, though. Like, it's just not. We need the Chiefs. We need them.
I'd be okay with a heel Bills, a sudden turn heel Bills.
I don't think they'll be good enough heels, though. Like the other matchup that features a heel, I think we could do
Bills
Eagles, Ravens Eagles, because I think people would get behind the Ravens.
I don't. I honestly think that's my read on it. I think anyone older than us just sees the Harbaughs as heels because they're both good. They're both like a little arrogant. Like my dad hates the Harbaughs. He's kind of my read for that whole generation. But
no offense to Pete, I don't think he's the majority here. I think people are more willing to get behind the Ravens than the Bills for paper.
Oh, I don't.
And the biggest reason, like, I think Lamar's more likable than Josh Allen. However, the biggest reason is Derrick Henry. I think people want Derrick Henry to win.
You know what? I hope you're right. Because quiet part out loud, I'm kind of like, well, people are racist. So the Bills are a whiter team. And
they are. I'm not going to dispute it.
Yeah. So they'll go, okay, whiter fan base, whiter quarterback, away we go. That's our team. So I hope you're right. I hope people love that duo and that dynamic as much.
You also underestimate how much people love to see the Bills lose. People love that. They love a cursed team that's not their own.
But not to the Ravens, right? I guess I'm playing both sides of that. Like the Ravens don't feel heel enough. They're tweeners. They're a little bit tweeners. I don't know if the Ravens are heel enough to, beat.
I don't think they're heels at all.
No, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know why. I don't know. I'm rooting for the Bills, but I get it. I love Lamar Jackson, so I love Mark Andrews, my boy.
I know you do.
So
I will say, and maybe this makes me a bad person, but
I can't wait. Okay.
Ravens are going to beat the Bills. That's done and over. Like, we don't even need to consider the Bills at this point. Ravens will win this game.
Yeah.
Then, and obviously Chiefs are going to beat the Texans. Doesn't matter. So it's going to be Ravens, Chiefs in Arrowhead. And I would love for this to be a very close game. I want it to be Ravens are actually coming back in the second half. This is insane. They're actually going to win this game. And then game-winning drive. Lamar's driving. Dink and dunk, left and right. Boom, 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 boom. End zone shot. Isaiah Likely touchdown. Uh-oh. Toe on the line again. Just like it was earlier in the season. Yeah. And then he is just the scapegoat. Fan base turns like, give the guy smaller shoes. This guy doesn't have that big of feet. I want that to be the entire storyline. I want him to be the reason they lose. I want that exact thing to happen again, because that's this type of stuff that happens with the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't win these games by dominating. They don't win these games by outplaying. They outwit or they just get fucking lucky. And I love that about the Chiefs. I love it.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah, I like that. I think there's a lot with them and the Bills. The Bills were their only real loss this year. Like that also makes me nervous that if it was that matchup, they would just like cook them. So
they won't lose that matchup.
No, I like that. I will say, to talk a little bit about the other games, the actual good game from this weekend did give me the only outcome where I'm like, storylines be damned, burn it all to the ground. I'd be fine with the Dan Quinn, Jaden Daniels run to glory.
Yeah. I think they are dangerous for the Lions too, by the way. I don't think it's a given that the Lions win this game.
No, I don't know if they – I think that next game is like going to be great. It's hard to predict them to win 2 games still, and make
Washington?
it to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
For sure. I just think Jaden Daniels is going to give the Lions defense so much trouble.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and they're playing great right now. They are sneakily, because I haven't heard many people talk about it, they're well coached. Dan Quinn's got the boys humming. Yeah. So
Kingsbury's doing his best coaching job on offense.
Yeah, a really experienced like offensive defensive coordinator pairing too. So like they're doing great. I think Terry McLaurin is gonna have a good time with some of the secondary that the Lions have to play. So yeah, I don't know. I think that matchup would be good. But if I had to, at this point, pick like a Cinderella, go on a run, Washington. That would be fun. It stinks they have to go through Detroit.
Yes.
Like if they beat Detroit, I want them to, oh my God. If it's if it's Washington, Philly, I'll be like, oh man, Philly's gonna get in the Super Bowl. If it is Washington, Minnesota, I will be unwell.
Yeah, that would be that. Ooh, maybe that's a good question. What potential matchup the rest of the way will get you the most invested? Like you need one side to win.
One outcome.
Yeah, that might be it for me.
Yeah. Do you feel more strongly about Washington, Minnesota than you would Lions, Minnesota?
It's close.
I don't think I can have the Lions lose to the Vikings. Like if the Lions lose to Washington, fun. They lose to Philly, like I'm almost kind of prepping for that. But like
the only reason why I'm more okay with that is because like we know whoever the Lions lose to, if they lose, Dan Campbell's going to be up at night the entire offseason just plotting their death. And if it's an in-division opponent that he gets to see twice, that's awesome.
That's true. Okay, I think the only one then that I would rival that with also includes the Lions, but I would say the only one that would make me feel even more strongly about that is, it's been mentioned a couple times. If we get Lions Chiefs, that can't be the team the Chiefs beat to get a 3-peat. Its storyline fits well. That
it does.
Freaking sucks.
Every year, though,
sneak up on us how invested we all are, though. In like we'll accept it, but it'll be like, oh man, not the Lions.
It's so weird because first off, it fits because the progression year to year with the Lions to take one more step forward. So losing in the Super Bowl makes sense, and then they win the Super Bowl next year. I understand. I'm not a Chiefs hater, and I will never hate the Chiefs as long as Andy Reid's there. I really enjoy this team. Dare I say I'm a fan of the Chiefs. So, like, I understand why everyone hates them, and that's why I love them. Like, that's why they are so important for the league. We're in the middle of a dynasty like we've never seen before. It's an incredible team. They're doing awesome stuff.
Yeah.
And I would love to see them keep it going. Or, like, you can't just lose multiple times in the middle of a dynasty. A 3-peat is awesome because if they become the first team to 3-peat, then like, they become true heels, and that's awesome. Next year will be the best year of football we'll see.
That's true. It's like when Brady, we actually had to be like, oh God, he's technically the GOAT. This sucks.
I know. But then, like, the only reason why the Patriots didn't go on that insane, winning, getting a 3-peat and stuff like that is because of Eli Manning. Because he came in and stepped up. Right. He stepped up and did the fucking thing.
Sometimes I think back and go, it's criminal that Tom Coughlin was the coach of those Giants teams. If we had, imagine if that was Tony Dungy. If we had a more likable head coach for those Giants teams, they'd be my favorite teams all time.
We'd be talking about them more, for sure.
So Tom Coughlin's best moment is finding his punter midfield after he just kicked the season away to Deshaun Jackson. Like, he's a heel. So I do think, okay, to focus on the flip side of it then, maybe the cog for you is the Vikings. Because yes, Vikings Commanders, I'd be like, oh my God, they have to lose. But if it's not Vikings Lions, but if it's Vikings Ravens.
Oh. That would get me juiced. Vikings Ravens or Vikings Chiefs. I'll be very in favor of the AFC both times.
I think
truly, if the Vikings make the Super Bowl, I have to root against them. Like, I hate this team. If it's the worst matchup for me possible left is Vikings Bills. I will hate that.
That's where I am with Vikings Chiefs. I don't know if I can root for the Chiefs in that way. I'd watch and hope it's a good game. I would maybe even end up rooting for the Vikings just because I really enjoy Justin Jefferson.
It's also
and Aaron Jones.
This is where it's comparable to Eli Manning was the one that stopped the Patriots dynasty in the middle. And Sam Darnold's going to be this fucker. Like, we can't have that, but also it fits.
I'm warning people now. If it's Sam Darnold versus the Chiefs, you're getting an A and B of Sam Darnold to Lizzie McAlpine's All My Ghosts. You are.
Yeah.
He's haunted, but he's here. But Ravens, because imagine this. The Vikings are in the Super Bowl. I can't have the Vikings winning their first Super Bowl. And against the Ravens, oh my God. Lose. I'm a little, but I don't want to tempt fate. Is there a piece of me, honestly, I'd be so into a Ravens-Vikings Super Bowl if the Ravens won.
Yes.
Vikings get there, hope's alive, die. I get to listen to that radio announcer lose his mind.
That's true. Even same thing for Vikings or Bills. If either of them make it and lose, that's fun. That's awesome. Everybody wins then.
Yeah. Yeah, Vikings Bills, someone's got to win is a little tough.
Yeah.
One of us is about to lose. Okay, but I'd be somewhat into that because I'm a sicko. And it's like, sure, one of these teams is going to win a Super Bowl. The other one's about to lose their fifth. And they're never making it back. That's 100%. Neither whoever loses that is never going back again.
That's true. That's true. They would. Oh God.
It's all or nothing.
I don't know. It is all or nothing. I do love that they will burn it down if they end up losing it. I just don't want that other team to feel joy. I just can't have that.
I was sad that the Buccaneers lost. Not more sad than the Commanders winning, but we talked about that going in. It stunk those two teams had to play each other.
Yeah, I mean, Baker gave me everything I wanted to see from Baker Mayfield in that game. That's why I needed him to keep going. Like trucking a linebacker in the game, just being pissed off the entire game. All that's great, but he had that stupid fucking interception and stuff like that. So Baker Mayfield a little bit too hard in that game. But that's why we
that handoff. That sucked.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
My boy Bucky Irving was put on the show. Mike Evans is getting some respect finally.
I know. Is it too little too late? He went from he might be the most overrated receiver to obviously Hall of Famer.
Everyone regurgitating that is kind of funny.
Yeah. 11 years in a row. Did you know that? Only Jerry Rice. Crazy.
Yeah. The Buccaneers are an interesting team of what will they do next year? But before we get into that, because I don't want to move past this too quickly. Yeah, I want to get into what these teams and coach changes and what the teams that lost are going to do. And by the way, if it feels like we're not talking about the Packer game too much, tune into Lombardi Suite.
Yeah, I'll share my thoughts. They basically did the exact things I said they couldn't do. So wasn't really a surprise.
And it's not just the injuries, but the injuries made it impossible for like a miracle. That the Myers thing sucks, dude.
He was gone anyway. He just
I know.
gave the Packers front office just fucking creamed their pants when he went down there. Like, thank God he's gone.
Yeah, for him, that sucks. That's all I'm
Of course. Also, Romeo Doubs, cut him. If he can't fucking survive a bump on the ground with the Guardian hat on, maybe football's not for him. Cut him. Christian Watson tore his ACL or whatever. He's a bitch. Cut him. Gone.
Like, we need how to catch.
That would be nice. That would be great. We do need to start from zero.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that need to happen for the Packers.
Only thing I wanted to say about it as a Packers fan, the season's over. I will say this season, you're going to know who I'm talking about right away, I think, because he's like the one bright spot. The season did give me, this is the first time I felt in a long time. I'm like, you are like one of my favorite Packers I've like watched. Dude, I fucking love Josh Jacobs.
Oh, yeah, he's good. Yeah. He's not for me, but he's a good player. He's okay.
He's an Amon Green type for me, where I'm like, you're not great, but like, I like the cut of your gym.
You know? Yeah. Depends on who you ask. Either he's the best running back in the league, according to Packer fans, or, he's a good player. He's just not, I'll still die on that he doesn't fit this Packers offense, which is true. Like it just doesn't work with Josh Jacobs in there. It needs a running back who could run an outside zone.
No. Take the analysis hat off for a second, though, and think about how hard he hits people.
Yeah, he's fine. Like, he's a Gruden guy. Can we have Gruden coach him? Could he be here? I thought he's not my favorite Packer. Favorite Packer is TJ Slayton forever and always.
My actual favorite one is Kenny Clark, but
tough year for Kenny Clark.
He's old. Big man's old. Those knees don't last on the big guy.
Don't say that to him, Mike, because Packers are going to fucking lowball his ass. He's gone. He's going to be gone very, very soon.
I know. Well, leave the memories alone.
I know. But Edgerrin Cooper is incredible. Great young player. Xavier McKinney was really good. That's about, you can't, Elton Jenkins can't be, Tucker Kraft was really good. Elton Jenkins can't be taken out of a game with a stinger. You can't do it. It's a playoff game. Get back in there. I don't care.
That sucks. Jalen Reed confused me.
He's not very good.
I know.
The only way he's good is if he has the ball in his hands, and the Packers just don't, do that part. You can't run a route. You can't do any of that. And the Packers like, oh, we just got to give him the ball in space. Let's have him do an end around. Like, that's all they do now.
I know.
That doesn't work.
They saw Shanahan in San Francisco, but don't quite get it. They're like, oh, we tried. No, I know.
Jet sweeps. Let's do it.
Yeah. And a good Eagles team. Like, to me, it's going to feel like the Packers gave it up, but it's like, in what world was I ever going to pick them to, like the Eagles are a better team. So,
I'm so upset Nakobe Dean got hurt, but there's going in, I said Eagles probably have the best defense. It's either them or the Broncos. A Vic Fangio defense that's running the scheme like how it should be run.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things in football, I think. It's up there with a Wade Phillips defense. They are so good. They're so good right now. And you have fucking white defensive backs just schooling people.
One of them. It's not a craze. It's one guy and his name's Cooper DeJean. It's like they got two. Who's the other guy? I just always think it's Cooper.
I think it's Reed Blankenship. They're the exciting whites. That's what they call themselves.
Oh, wow. It's like Lad McConkey.
Dude. Let's get them all on one team.
I know.
We'll call them the Packers. I don't know. And then let's just run it to the Super Bowl.
100%. It does seem like those three players will get overbid on to play for the Bills in a couple of years, but we'll get there when we get there. But you mentioned this earlier, and I didn't want to skip this because I agree completely. It's never happening, but it's worth a conversation, especially on this show, where we give it to you straight. Packers fan, thrilled they made the playoffs, 11-win team, So I get it. Good they made the playoffs. Boy, bad year to be a fan of the 17 playoff. Straight up, like, oh, we should only have a 16 playoff.
That's another thing. People, this has been shared around a lot. Jordan Love, future's so bright. He made the playoffs both years, his first 2 starting years. One dove a couple years ago. He was the 7 seed both times.
I know.
I hate the 7 seed.
And again, the Packers are probably the best argument for it, because I will also, it's hard time to like defend the Packers in any way right now, because bad game, go out on it. Great record in a tough division that they got stomped by. So it's like, they are probably they are the scenario you would present the 7 seed with, of like, oh, but the Packers went to made it, and they, their only flaw was they had to play the Vikings and Lions twice. Like, that sucks, but and Bears should have got them twice. It's the other thing. So we were blocked kick away from 2 losses them. So, right. And their only other loss was the Eagles. So, good year overall for the Packers in terms of that record piece, just using them as an example of like, oh, that's a good 7 seed. Yeah. But like on the other end, like they weren't playing well. They like slipped up at the end of the season. That should have cost them. Meanwhile, on the other end, the Broncos beat out the Tua-less Dolphins and we were literally 4-7 Bengals to get in.
Yeah. We're rewarding bad behavior. Like, we can't be. One team barely almost went completely lossless or completely winless in their division in the Packers. And then the Broncos they weren't they have $90 million of dead cap. They make it in. Like, they don't even have talent on their roster. Get them out.
Exactly. There are teams with like those tendencies shouldn't be playoff teams. Like the Packers, the reason I say that is like, look at the tendency piece. Maybe the health side of it. You could look at that team and go, a team that unhealthy, I don't care what their record is, that's a reason to miss the playoffs. But,
you are making a case for a committee to choose, right?
I am.
Is that what we're talking about?
And right I volunteer. But by the way, the committee got it right this year. I'm the only one who thinks that. But
they did. We should have a committee, though. You're right.
Correct. We have a committee. Here's what I actually think. It should probably only be 5 teams. It should probably be the division winners and a wild card. If we like, these 5 teams will always be great.
You mean from each side? Gotcha. Yes, I agree.
No, not 5 teams total. No, that's crazy.
What if we had a 4-team playoff? Hear me out.
What if a newspaper picked the 2 best teams?
Yeah,
and they just played each other. Yeah. And then the rest of them can be sold out to sponsors. But Pop-Tart Bowl. But no, actually though, like the Steelers, love them to death. That team shouldn't have made the playoffs.
No, with the way they ended.
Yeah. The Rams are hanging on for dear life. Maybe they'll win tonight. But still, like they're, like the Commanders are a year away, they're a playoff team. Like, and they won. I get it, but it's just there's a lot of reasons it could have kept these teams out.
The Bengals were a playoff team. Like, no matter what, like I don't like the Bengals. They started bad. They shouldn't be rewarded for that. However, to say that they didn't put up a better chance than half the teams that made the playoffs would be foolish.
This is maybe a little bias sneaking in. I feel similarly about the Packers. I'm not mad that they're a playoff team because of all the things I mentioned, but what teams we'll see if the Philly might do that to everybody. So,
very well could.
We'll find out. But the Chargers, the Broncos, even the Packers in there, the Steelers, listen, they didn't inspire confidence in a big playoff turnaround. And by the way, just like you're saying, just like in college football, we're going to hopefully get more good games than bad games, and certainly will down the line. That's how it goes. But especially the 7th seed, it was like, this is almost, and not only that, but now I'm like, we didn't even get a good draft pick.
Welcome to Green Bay.
Well, welcome to Green Bay, the team who's really getting the teeth, at least, again, hear more on Lombardi sweep. Because I understand the flaw in this sentence. The only it is a small sliver. It's more of a comparison sentence than anything. At least Green Bay is young, and I don't believe, I'm not that confident in Jordan Love. But here's the comparison. This is the flip. That's the only reason I'm saying that, because I'm about to compare them to the team everyone else has been talking about, which is, dude, Mike Tomlin is built to get a number 18 draft pick.
Yeah. First off, the whole young thing, I kind of went on a whole thing about Lombardi's.
I know you did. I know you did.
Like, great that we're young. Can we hang a banner for that, or can we not? Because if we're not improving, then we're going to be old and bad, I think is what I said. Like, it doesn't matter. I understand Steelers fans' attitude right now. Like, if I'm a Steelers fan and if we keep going to the playoffs and losing every single time without even a first round win, year after year after year, and we keep losing to the same people. Like, this time it's the Ravens. Before it was the Browns, so just divisional opponents, and before that it was the Patriots every time. Change has to happen. Like, you have to shake it up. I think Mike Tomlin's one of the best four best coaches in the NFL. However, like, a change of scenery could be needed. I don't know. Like, if I'm a Steelers fan, I would also be pissed off and be asking for change, I think
2 weeks ago, and I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm just saying this is the tough times Mike Tomlin's been on. I think 2 weeks ago you called him like he's the best coach in the NFL. Now
I think he might be.
I agree with you, but
he's moving down. He's moving down.
100%.
He just lost 4 games in a row.
It's like, how confident can I be? Yeah. I agree with you, but it's just like no, I feel the same way, where it's like, I can't be that positive right now.
Truly though, like, who would I choose over him? The only one I would confidently say is Andy Reid, I think.
Yeah, confidently, that's the only one. I like
John Harbaugh's great,
but confidently, I don't know. Same, like even Kyle Shanahan. I'm like, I would understand, but
I would understand that. I'd understand McVay. Like, they're all in that same sort of conversation.
Yeah. McVay gets slept on. Our boy, of course,
John Gruden.
Fucker. Dan Campbell. But
Dan Campbell, I think, should be talked about in that upper tier. I think people are afraid to do it.
There's different kinds of coaches, and he's the other one.
He's a leader. Like, there's very few head coaches who are leaders at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot of thinkers, not him.
He's an intellectual. He's more sophisticated than you think.
He is. He's a really smart. I think the nice way to say it is plain spoken. He like wants to be seen as dumb.
For sure. He loves that. He loves that more than anything else.
100%. But he's man of the people. But all that to say, I think next year, there's nowhere they just extended Tomlin. Not that hasn't not happened before. But next year, if this happens again, because I will say, flip the script on how this season went for the Steelers. Like, let's say they, ended as good as they started and then flipped in. Maybe you'd feel a little bit better on them, but that's the same thing they've done.
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel like we're giving him credit because, they finished bad, but it was a good team. No, it was the same mediocre team he's had.
I think they should make changes to some of their coaching staff, but we'll see what happens. But
they also need a quarterback, like a quarterback. But
I agree. They need a young quarterback who's good, and there just aren't any out there, including in this draft, I think. But they need to go cheap at quarterback no matter what. They have to do what they did this year. Maybe they are able to get Kirk Cousins extremely cheap. We'll see. But Mike Tomlin he's not going to get fired. I think that's the only for sure guarantee. Teams are calling about trading for him, but he has a no trade clause, so he can completely turn that down. However, the one team that we talked about to start the show, or maybe it was before we started the show, the one team that has absolutely no plan at head coach is the team that maybe has the most to give up. Why wouldn't the Cowboys go and try to trade for Mike Tomlin? They already, after true, I already know, but after the Steelers said, we don't want the term America's team. We're not America's team, we're Pittsburgh's team. So they kicked that away, Cowboys took it. Why
Yeah.
don't they do the same thing with Mike Tomlin? I understand Jerry Jones may be a wee bit racist, a little bit, a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But he would be the perfect coach for that team, excluding Jerry Jones.
And to be sincere for a second, I don't think anything for Jerry trumps at all. I want to win football games. I think he doesn't understand that he gets in the way of that so much to understate that. But oh my God, he'd love nothing more than to be like, okay, I maybe fricked up the Mike McCarthy thing, but we got Mike Tomlin.
Jerry cares too much, and that's what people always say about him. You're right.
As long as we're here, we got to talk about it. This is I don't think I would have described myself as a Mike McCarthy fan a week ago. I'm outraged.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's gonna win in the end, probably, but not the Cowboys. But how do you say no? You do not get to go interview for the Bears. You are still under contract with us. And then let's just wait. Let's wait until all the interviews are done, and then be like, you know what? Nah, you get to go, Mike. Go do what you want. He's still going to interview with the Bears. I think he's still possibly the leading candidate for that job, but they kind of fucked him over. Not kind of, they did.
Why did they do that? Is it just an ego thing, or is it thing, or is it Jerry going, well, I want to negotiate for you to stay with us? Is he mad that he doesn't want to extend, or does he think he's like, you're for sure going to get the Bears job, so I'm being an a-hole?
Supposedly, Cowboys or Jerry and Mike didn't even talk about like contract stuff, like try to negotiate business stuff at all. Apparently, they met for several meetings since denying that interview request. They met several times just to talk about football and like the direction of the team. And the reason he was released now or just not re-upped was because they were on different pages. There's also like interviews and stuff that came out where it's like Jerry said, if we only want people who want to be here, and that's why they turned that away. It was like a weird like PR thing. Like, we don't want our head coach to be interviewing for other jobs. Like, I kind of understand that as well. I don't know. Like, I think he truly just wanted to meet with Mike and to shut out all the outside noise. I think it was actually a smart thing, but the way it was showcased and everything made them look so bad. Rightfully so. They're a mess.
Yes. If it's a different team, there's a certain charm to like, the contract ends on this date. Like, we're still negotiating. But the look that they weren't negotiating. Like, if it's a different team, let's say it's like a young plucky team that everybody likes, like the Jags. I don't know. Like, let's say the Jags had a coach that it's like, he's clearly going to go somewhere else. Yeah. And they're like, we want to negotiate with him. We're not going to let him go yet. That's more understandable. But there wasn't any negotiating happening. And B, no one wants to work for Jerry, and now he's holding people hostage.
Yeah. It's not a good situation at all.
Who goes there, and why is it Rex Ryan?
It might be. Rex really, really wants that Jets job, though. Like, he's talking about it on ESPN. Saying, after the Vrabel hiring, he's like, I hope I get to beat his ass twice a year. Like, that was his reaction.
Is it just Kellen Moore? Is that what we think is going to happen in Dallas?
If the Eagles keep winning, I think that's a very strong possibility.
Is that where Ben Johnson goes?
Ben Johnson feels like a Jaguar to me.
Poor Ben Johnson. That's rude.
I mean, wouldn't they be like, hey, we need to figure out Trevor Lawrence. Let's bring in the best offensive guy.
Yeah. You know what?
The Raiders apparently really like him as well, but we'll see.
What's Romeo Crennel up to?
Not much. But if we think about like different jobs around the league, I would assume Doug Peterson could get a job if he wants it. It would be very Tom Brady / Bill Belichickian, if you want to call that. Bill Belichick always throughout his entire tenure at Patriots, if someone beat his ass, he would bring them in. Like, if they played really well against them, he'd bring them in. It would make sense for Tom Brady to bring in Doug Peterson there, in my opinion. Aaron Glenn probably going to go to the Saints if nothing else happens there. I'm going to say Mike McCarthy, probably going to go up to the Bears. Bears would have nothing more than to. It's such a situation where it's like you're in high school and someone said you can't date that person. Now you want to do it more. After the Cowboys denied the request for Mike McCarthy, guaranteed he's going to go there. And they get to hold that over the Packers, be like, hey, we got you a Super Bowl coach, which it doesn't, we fired him. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. And every Packer fan goes, great.
Yeah. That's what they're going to do there.
Yeah. No, I know. I also just didn't want to miss this week. It also came out this week. Terrible look on top of everything else that the Cowboys apparently were very interested in Bill Belichick, but never let his camp know that they were.
Yeah, I know. So stupid.
So just terrible looks all the way around. Yeah, so let's go through, just the openings and the candidates, because it's current openings left. Mike Vrabel officially joins the Patriots. Which we knew was coming, which, by the way, Jared Mayo of it all aside, because that sucks that he didn't actually get a chance to improve a team that basically had the same record as when it was for the greatest coach of all time. That stinks. That said, Vrabel should have never been fired by Tennessee. He's going back to the Patriots. They would have loved to do that a year ago. So I get it. But so that one's filled. Jared Mayo's a name I'm wondering about. In certain
He's not going to have a head coach job.
Oh, that stinks. But I hope he gets to join a staff somewhere, because as we talked about last week, he can't go to even as a coordinator, he can't go to New England again. So Dallas Cowboys, they have an opening. Raiders, they have an opening. Jaguars, they have an opening. Bears, they have an opening. Saints, they have an opening. And then finally, the Jets have an opening.
Yep.
And you mentioned, so where do we feel most confident? Let's go confidence board, because I've only heard a couple names mentioned a couple places. McCarthy feels right in Chicago.
It does. And they haven't even interviewed yet, but it feels like a done deal to me.
That feels done. How do we feel about Rex in New York? Is it just that I hear him say it so much that it feels done?
Here's the thing, because I think Woody is going to make the decision. Last time he didn't make the decision, it was his brother who hired Saleh or whatever.
Yeah.
If he wants a babyface sort of move just to win over the fan base wants Rex.
Yeah.
Like that's an actual thing. So it wouldn't really surprise me to see that. Otherwise, like, who's the worst candidate, and that's who they're going to hire if it's not Rex, I think. Like,
yeah.
No, it seems like there's no other front runner right now.
Jack Del Rio. Where's Norv Turner? Matt Patricia.
Marvin Lewis. Let's get him in there.
Yeah.
Where's Jeff Fisher? We need Jeff. Let Jeff go coach. But yeah, it feels like
Wink Martindale
there. Ooh. Wink could be the DC for Rex again.
Wink instead of Rex. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Rex, you could be my DC.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Why is he so mad at me?
True.
Yeah, besides that, okay, so Antonio Pierce is out. Somebody's getting, who are the coaches we know are going to get hired some places? Like you mentioned, Aaron Glenn. Seems a done deal to New Orleans.
Everyone's saying for sure both of those coordinators are gone. The Lions showed last offseason they were willing to give Ben Johnson a raise to keep him to stay. I think Ben Johnson's going to end up ultimately going. It wouldn't surprise me to see Aaron Glenn come back on a raise.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's probably gone, especially because he's been waiting for this opportunity for much longer than Ben Johnson. So I think he's probably gone. The only two places, or I think there's a chance Glenn comes back. The only two places Glenn I think would go are Saints or Jets. And he has playing experience at both those places, I do believe. So could go to the Jets.
Just makes sense.
But that's why Ben Johnson feels like the Jags coach. They should want to go offense. If Jags don't go Ben Johnson, they're going to go Gruden, is my opinion.
Oh, I've got this all figured out. Okay, I've got it. Ready for this?
Okay.
I think Ben Johnson, Jags.
Okay.
Or sneaky, Ben Johnson is the backup pick for McCarthy in Chicago.
Sure.
Because they see him twice a year. They've got a young QB. We go that
They
route.
like him. Yep.
Everyone settles up everywhere. Oh, no. Who's with the Raiders? Who can we get? We wanted Gruden all along. We've always wanted Gruden.
Yeah.
It should have been him at first. We had to get rid of him. We still want Gruden.
Yeah, Mark Davis did not want to get rid of him.
No. I could 100% see them bringing him back.
Yeah, for sure.
Or Tony Dungy.
Maybe. I think Gruden has 3 very strong spots. Like, I think Gruden's getting a head coaching job. Like, Jags makes sense. They need a culture guy and they need an offensive guy. He does both. The Saints, he's already been in that building working prior to the season with Derek Carr, and Derek Carr's there. They have a great relationship. That makes sense there. The only reason they wouldn't is because the guy that just fired was like a former Gruden coach. So it's similar. But I could see Gruden there. And then obviously Raiders. Like, one of those 3 jobs feels like he has to get. Cowboys, I think, is a very outside chance, but it's a big enough move that I could see the Cowboys. Like, Cowboys want to make a big move, and Gruden's for sure a big move, at least.
Yeah, the Cowboys will get mentioned for all the big names that we don't know if they're going to actually interview, right? Like, we're going to keep hearing Deion's name. Today I heard people starting to mention, not just for Cowboys, but heard people mentioning Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame coach.
Deion's a possibility for the Raiders as well, because they're in that position that they could go get Shedeur.
Yeah.
Like, I could see them double dipping there.
I like the way he's double dipping. But those would be good. Let me manifest something. If the Cowboys were willing to do it, who do we pick that's just going to make Jerry get out of the way? Nick Saban. Save my ass. Come in here. I'll give you full control. Pay you a lot of money.
Interesting.
I think that'd be the other route they go if they don't just get like a pushover. Otherwise, if you're going to pick somebody anyway, because we're at the bottom of the barrel, I always want to see Lovie Smith have a coach job.
Same. Lovie would be great, and so would, I don't remember his name. What?
Jeff Saturday.
Jeff Saturday's earned it. He's cut his teeth.
Honestly, Jeff Saturday to the Cowboys at this point feels awesome. Great. That feels really good. It does feel
great.
Dan Orlovsky.
Who was let Dano do it.
Skip Bayless.
Who was the head coach of the Texans for the 1 year before they just canned him?
Oh, hold on. I actually have it for a video I'm working on. 1 second.
Because he obviously long time Passover, finally got a job, canned. And again, David Culley. Like, should David Culley have a job? Yes. This is very similar to the Gerard Mayo thing. It's like, should he have been fired? Was this fair? Not fair.
No.
Like, it's not fair at all. However, he gets all that money. Coaches' contracts are guaranteed. So
yeah,
there's a little silver lining there. But if you are able to upgrade, you should do it. If you are able to upgrade, you should do it. And clearly the Texans did. You can't argue they didn't. And then now the Patriots are looking at, they get Vrabel. I don't think anyone's going to argue that Vrabel's not a better head coaching job person there.
Let me say a few more names to you who are in that boat, and you tell me if any of these people have chances other places, because these are all folks who were recently let go maybe before their time. And some of these I don't think so, but, you know, they're in the realm. A stretch, but Anthony Lynn.
No.
Very much a stretch, Brian Flores.
Oh, yeah, he's for sure got a shot.
I hope so. There's some teams that legit will still blackball him, which I hate. And total outsider looking in, the Cowboys feel like one of those teams.
Yes.
Just because of if there is legit, like, owners are getting together, deciding that Jerry feels like a part of that because he has so much sway with owners.
I don't know if the Bears interviewed him, but they should have. I'm not sure if they did. He would be a good coach there.
Ron Rivera.
Ron Rivera could get the Bears job.
Yeah. Ron Rivera's in talks, so that would be interesting. And then Robert Saleh. He feels
outside
like he
shot to
could
get
get interviewed by the
Jets
Cowboys.
job. Oh, the Jets could bring it back around. You know what? What did you learn at your time at Green Bay? He could get the Cowboys job. Jaguars interviewed him.
Yeah,
That would be like the bad Jaguars head coaching
that's a bad
hire
Jags pick. It's a
for
bad
sure.
Jags pick. Yeah,
Um,
Cowboys feel like they get Mike Zimmer.
I don't know. I think Mike Zimmer talks too much. Salah's a good
True.
Salah's a good puppet though.
Yeah, that's he had to do some of the same stuff for the Jets. So
Yeah, proven.
That's
That's
why
why,
team trades for Tomlin. Who do you think it is? Because I don't think the Cowboys actually do that. I know they could give up a lot, but
it's a very, very, very big move. And the only team I could see making a big move like that is the Raiders because of Tom Brady. Like really forcing, like because Tom Brady's really involved in the head coaching search, I guess. And he could be the one saying, like, screw the X's and O's and all that bullshit. We need a culture guy and we need to build this from the ground up. Clearly, the culture is completely broken, and you should be willing to give up anything for that type of guy. And I mean, is there a better culture guy than Tomlin?
no, I mean, I agree completely. I think any team, if the Steelers are legit hearing offers, I think everyone should be calling.
Yeah.
Just to see what it would cost and what that
The
would
Packers
look like.
don't do fuck with their first round pick. Can we trade a first rounder for Tomlin?
Speaking of a team who at most is going to add, like where they are, it's a high pick, but not that high a pick. I would hate this because they're in division and I hate them historically. But listen, the Bears need culture. They've got, if it's not Caleb Williams, take whoever you fucking want. Like,
Yeah.
And I only say that because they have other good players on the team, but the generational quarterback's the only thing that's irreplaceable in the NFL. That and a good system coach. You lost all faith from everybody this year. Bring in Tomlin, whatever it costs, even if it costs you your top 10 pick.
Trade Caleb. Why wouldn't you?
I don't want that for Tomlin. Tomlin goes someplace and he loses his big QB again.
You think Tomlin's going to get along with Caleb Williams anyway?
I could see it a little bit.
I don't know. I'm really out on Caleb Williams. I think he's super talented.
Yeah.
I can't picture anybody listening to him.
I know. It's his voice. It's just his voice. But I guess I could see Tomlin getting along with him because Tomlin's never had that chance to like work with and nurture a future star type guy that they think he is.
Kenny Pickett.
He cannot.
What if the Bears did this? And I guess his contract's up, so I'm not sure if it works. But we're playing pretend anyway. We'll trade you Caleb Williams for Tomlin and Justin Fields. Come on home. Bring him back.
Honestly,
he wasn't the issue.
Yeah. And you can bring TJ.
Yeah, bring TJ. Why not? JJ, you want to play? You can play tight end. You were great for that
Come
one
on
year.
JJ's going to get interviewed somewhere one of these days, by the way.
He'll be a D-line coach for the Texans under D'Amico.
Yeah. I hope it's him and Vince Wilfork co-coaching.
That would be great. I guess technically he owns a pretend soccer team in some like Champions League or something. I don't know if that's even a real thing. So maybe that takes up time, but you know who also co-owns that team? Dude Perfect. And I assume they keep putting out YouTube videos. So I think JJ could probably coach football.
That's true. I would love that. Here's what I want to end on, which is this. I owe someone an apology. And let's see if you owe anybody an apology.
Is it JJ McCarthy? Because it's been a long time coming.
No, I called that right. He was doomed. Just not for the reasons I thought. But the universe is mysterious. Toby Keith, maybe. But here's an exercise that people can do at home. Who's like an NFL player who's pompous enough and like full of their own shit that you're like, they're for sure going to be a mediocre, terrible coach. Like they can't resist going for coach someday. And for that reason, I owe Teddy Bruschi an apology. I can't believe that guy's never interviewed anywhere. And
That's true.
he's got a higher
We don't
integrity.
we
than I
don't
thought
know
he did.
that.
Okay, but he hasn't gotten it, and
He
no
hasn't gotten
serious
it.
talks. He doesn't like bring it up all the time. I was just thinking, like, how's Teddy Bruschi not walked up somewhere and gone, "You're not letting me coach yet"?
True. That's a very good one. Who is a good one right now? A current player. I mean, it feels like Russell Wilson could.
Yeah, it's a great one. Richard
He'd
Sherman
be-
for a bit.
Richard Sherman's a candidate to be fired after 1 year for sure.
Yeah. that's so true. Why does that feel so true? Yeah, that's a great one.
Trying to think of a defensive guy that makes sense.
It's like Jeff Saturday went for it. Honestly,
Good for Jeff, man.
if Jason
That is
Kelsey,
awesome.
if Jason Kelsey doesn't go for a coaching job within 5 years, I'll add him to the apology list.
Honestly, if the Eagles do not win the Super Bowl, Eagles fans would love for him to be the head coach.
I mean, yes, but they shouldn't. But you're correct. Yeah.
Um,
Ryan Fitzpatrick never went for it.
Ryan Fitzpatrick has time. He's got a nice little cushy media job,
Yeah.
though.
Who's
So
in
that's
that?
not bad.
Who's in that age range where it's like you didn't go for it? Peyton, from our knowledge, hasn't gone for it and would have,
He's got so much shit.
But I don't like dislike him in that way. Like Teddy Bruschi, it's like,
screw Teddy Bruschi.
yeah.
He's the worst.
Ryan Clark.
You know who we need to become a coach in that age range? I'm not sure if you've listened to him talk much at all. We need Brian Urlacher as a fucking coach.
We do need Brian Urlacher as a coach.
I love Urlacher. He should be the Bears coach. He
Oh,
would be awesome.
thank you for reminding me. Speaking of crazy Bears linebackers, Cowboys, if you got to hire somebody, call Mike Singletary.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Rivera. I could see.
Oh, Rivera would be good. But it's like, why is it being
Singletary for
crazy
sure.
cost him the job? He was a fine
Yeah.
coach. Crazy person, but he should be coaching. Oh, my God. Him in Dallas?
It would work. It would work for sure.
Or
down
they
for
hire
it.
Shannon Sharp.
Oh, God.
Unk.
God. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I could see Shannon doing coaching at some point.
I
I
could
hate
see
him.
Dan Orlovsky in Dallas next year.
I think he's going to become an offensive coordinator at some point.
By the way, he's winning me over.
Really? Okay.
Slowly,
Why?
surely. I think he's in on the bit.
Oh, he is. He is.
But like to a degree, like before, it was like, you're making fun of me. Like, you're like, oh, I'm rich. Who cares if they laugh at me? But now it's like, I think he's genuinely like, dude, I was a bad QB. Like, sometimes when he talks about stuff, he's like, I know ball, but, why am I here?
I don't think he's very self-aware of his football career, I think.
I actually know what it is, which is whenever I see him, he's surrounded now by either Jeff Saturday or Damian Woody, who I love.
Okay.
And they get along. So I'm always like, oh, he's a lineman boy.
True. He's also dished it on First Take to Shannon a few times, just completely schooled him. That's fun to watch.
That clip's gone around a lot of him pulling up a Sterling Sharp stat on him.
Yeah, immediately. Then Shannon was all mixed up. Let's answer a few of these millions of questions.
Get out of here.
And then we'll get out. What happened to Jordan Love? I mean, he came back down to earth. Toyota-thon ended. Favorite board game? I mean, it's got to be Bezer Wezer, right?
Bezer Wezer is great. The other one I'll throw in there, I do love board games for folks who didn't know that. If it's not Bezer Wezer, I mean, Hughes and Q's has become my bring it anywhere and anyone will like it.
What is it?
It's a big board color palette, basically. And then from there,
we played it, I think.
Yeah, plays like apples to apples. Someone has the card, describes the color, and you go.
Yes.
It's a great one for like, you just need to play a game that you can explain in 30 seconds.
True.
Get everyone in on. Favorite Madden video game?
Madden 07, maybe? The one with Sean Alexander. I like that one a lot.
I like the one they did on the Wii. It's the cover of Cardinals Steelers.
Okay. Yeah,
And they
yeah.
had like big head mode on the Wii. That game was terrible on the Wii, but it was a fun time.
Okay.
Who makes the playoffs next year? Dolphins or Jets?
Jets. Dolphins are done. Apple or orange juice? Orange.
Apple. Favorite Trevor moment?
None. Yeah, not applicable.
He's so nice. I like that one
Uh,
episode me and him did together where he was just so afraid of saying anything rude about the I think so podcast, and they were pissed at him anyway. He was like actively like beforehand, he's like, I can't say anything to make them mad, and afterwards they're like, we hate that Trevor guy, and I was like, oh, you
fuck that guy. Yeah.
Taco Bell or KFC?
KFC always fucking hits. Tell me it does not. Taco Bell is what it is, but KFC, I don't know, man. I think KFC gets a bad rap.
God, there's a lot of questions here. I'm going to end on 3 of them. One of them is quick. Who wins the national championship game?
Ohio State. Biggest thing you've climbed.
Yeah, we're ending on that one. Did we win podcast of the year? Not yet.
Hasn't been announced, but you know, we're the award nominated for a reason. You know what it is.
Biggest thing you ever climbed is such a funny question.
I don't know. Mount
okay, here's a
Mount
I'm gonna
Simon?
throw it out there. You don't climb a mountain.
That's true. Well, some people do, but
some people do. If you free soloed it all the way up, great. But it's sure, I've hiked.
Okay, so let's take it literally then.
Climbed. That's how I took it right away.
Okay. I mean, I've climbed up some fences. I've climbed up a rock wall, like the manufactured, not real rock wall.
One time after a late night in college, we got halfway up a telephone pole and then realized there was no end in sight. Like, how does that end? So we went back down.
Okay. There's no end to this telephone pole. That
it was like all that's up there is death. You can't go like, what do I do?
Yeah, there's no good plan there.
And I ended up there because they were like, your big ass can't get up the pole. Watch me. And then I got about halfway up and I was like, I can't win this bet. What do I do?
No. Yeah. No winning there. Just say you could have if you wanted to.
Yeah. Hopped on a hay bale once.
Yeah. I guess that was climbed. It wasn't very high.
Yes. Not that tall.
I mean, some ladders, I guess.
Yeah. But as always, speaking of ladders, thanks for all who have watched along with us. I couldn't think of a segue. I just, kept it moving. But just like a ladder, we hope you too will continue to climb along with us here at Flurry Sports as we climb up our subscription count. That's right. Thank you to all. Boom. Finally made it there. Thank you to all who subscribed so far.
Yep.
We're making good numbers on YouTube. If you're watching this wherever you watch podcasts, leave a review. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a like, comment, subscribe. It helps.
Let us know the highest thing you've ever climbed.
Yeah, that would be great. Highest thing you've ever climbed, and
give us give us coordinates for things to climb, and we'll check them out. We'll do a little Flurry Sports road trip. We'll type them in.
Yeah. Otherwise, support other videos on the channel. I put up some wrestling ones lately.
Yep, so more coming up too.
More coming up. Possibly, we're thinking about some sports history lessons, which could be fun. I'm excited about one that I'm working on right now, which I will not announce because it's a lot, and I just don't know what I haven't done. But
okay. Also, the newsletter, the email newsletter is coming back on Wednesday. Luke is doing those. So if you are not subscribed, head to like any Flurry Sports page. You can probably find a sign up there. Otherwise, I'll get a better link next time. But he's going to do a bunch of good stuff with that. It's going to be obviously sports headlines and stuff like that. He might be doing some like song of the day or like some music stuff in there as well. Sports history, sports trivia, all types of stuff. So Luke's really taking charge of that. And it seems like it's going to be a fun little read in your email inbox. Should be a good time.
Yeah. Rumble season's coming up, so you'll see some videos there. But
that's this month, right?
That's this month, end of the month.
Okay. Can't wait for Brock to flip the ring in a tractor. Brock and Otis tag team. Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
We need that.
Okay, you bring back one legend for the Rumble. We're ending on this. Who do you bring back?
Does Brock count or no?
No. He like actively wrestles. Someone who only comes back for the match takes a hike. You can't say Eugene.
Okay. Next one, Hulkster. He already teased it a little bit there. It went over fine. Let's get him into a crowd that he can do a little bit more with in Indy. Oh, come on, let's go. Just, I am a real American. What? Doing all these ear things in the middle.
What is with the Stone Cold?
Stone Cold's gonna be in the ring as well, obviously.
I would love that, honestly, because if he comes back at this point, it's to get booed. So, that would be great.
That should be a running bit now. That should be great.
Yeah, that would be good. Listen, we only have so many years of this. We need Scott Steiner back with Braun in there.
Yeah, just barking at each other.
Just barking, exactly. And then Rick comes out. Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure. I thought you were going to go with Ric Flair. Just wasn't sure how many more years we got of Rick. But Scott would be. I haven't seen him lately. Does he still look like the big booty daddy or what?
And that's what we don't have much. Like, he can still move a little bit. Like, he could come back, do a Rumble thing, and we could get one match with him and Braun.
Okay. I'm down for that.
Always excited to see RVD.
True. True.
So that would be good. Otherwise, I don't know. If I had Santino Marella would be fun, but you don't know who that is. Otherwise, my women's pick, Jazz. It's always Jazz. I love Jazz. Otherwise, Lita.
Isn't she just around?
Not anymore, but she was recently, which is why it like feels that way. Mickie James. Also,
Stacy Keibler. Where's she?
Oh, I don't know. I like when they have Michelle McCool come out because she's just married to Undertaker. So she's just like always there. So sometimes they did that one year where she was there to watch him and she's like, oh, it's me.
Nice. That works.
Do that spot again. Yeah. Linda, new Secretary of Education.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good, actually.
You're to teach you some things.
True. God, there's a few good legends, I think. Last year, I feel like the last couple Rumbles there hasn't been.
So people are saying Triple H might not do those spots. The roster's so big, Triple H hasn't done them. No one who hasn't like gone on to do it, like no one thinks they're going to do it this year because they think both John Cena and The Rock are potentially just in it. So it's like, would you bring anyone else in? But
I saw a very questionable match on Twitter, a recent one with Chris Jericho. What didn't look very good. I think he needs to come back to WWE. I think that's where his home is.
Honestly, be fine. Get him off AEW.
Yeah.
Put him here. What about, this is my last thing on the show,
Jeff Hardy.
What about Papa Khan?
I don't know who that is.
Not Tony Khan, but the owner of the Jags.
Oh, gotcha. With his twiddling his mustache walking out.
Yeah. He picks the side. It's WWE. Oh, actually, we have the same right answer. 3, 2, 1. Shane.
Oh, yeah. Shane, come on. Just his music hits so fucking hard.
Where is he? The Raptors. Woo.
What we need Shane to go out there. Take his time to get down to the ring. He's doing his little shuffling, doing whatever. Yep. And then the next music hits, and it's Perk Angle just coming out. And Shane just looks fucking scared as shit because he knows what's about to happen. He's going to get suplexed over the top rope.
The only legend I've actually heard rumored is Goldberg. So we'll see. He's always around too.
Good. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Come on, Bill.
And on that, thank you for listening.